Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Mm-mm. Okay.
Yes, but my webcam not cannot open.
Ah,
I don't
okay.
know why. Yes.
It's okay. So yeah, how are you for today, Miss Sharon? How's your weekend?
Um, I'm fine, but my body uh uh, uh not recover completely. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Also, you still feel sick.
It's better, but my voice isn't very clear now.
Oh, okay. But how about your colds? Is your cold okay now?
It's okay. No,
Mm-mm.
not wrong noise. Yes.
Mm-mm. How about cough? Do you still have coughs or no?
Yes,
Mm-mm.
especially in night,
At
at
night.
night. Yes. Yes.
Ah, okay. So you still cough. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-mm. I see. Now, so far, Miss Sharon, how to say this like, let's say after this class, what you're gonna do later?
Mm.
Do you have any
Um,
other
I
plans?
will prepare prepare the presentation. Yes. I next week I will go to the Hong Kong. Yeah,
Mm-mm,
attending the conference.
mm-mm. How many days is the conference again? I kind of like forgot.
At least 3 days. 3 days.
3 days. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Okay, I see. So next week you will, I mean, it's your flight to to Hong Kong, and then after 3 days
Yeah.
you're gonna be back to Taiwan.
Yes. And I
Mm,
will uh flight on a Saturday, and
mm-mm,
I'm going and I'm leaving 2 days earlier.
mm-mm. Ah, you will leave 2 days early.
Yes, yes.
Mm-mm. Your flight will be this upcoming Saturday.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
And
because I
you're,
will meet a friend in Hong Kong. Yes,
mm-mm.
she work
Also
in the
that,
Hong Kong.
so that means your conference or the first day of the conference would be on June 8th.
Yes, eight to
Okay.
ten
8 to 10. And then after that, maybe is it on 11 you're gonna be back or on 10 also? You're
on
gonna be,
10. After
okay.
conference, I will go back. Yes,
Okay, right away. You're gonna be back right
yes.
away. Okay.
Mm.
I see. So you need to prepare. So you could say you have at least how many days left? Let's say 5 days left, right?
Yes,
To
and I need
prepare.
to go to work and school, so it's
Mm-mm.
busy. Yes.
Okay, I see. So after this class, you're gonna prepare for your how to say this like your presentation. And at the same
Mm,
time, maybe you're gonna check your workloads and also your I mean your courses at
mm.
PhD. I mean.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay, I see. So thank you so much for that one. And how about like the weather in your city, Miss Sharon? Is it
It's too
really
hot.
hot? Too hot?
Yes, really hot. Yes, really hot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, what's the temperature, like the highest temperature in your city
Mm.
today?
Uh, because I live in Kaohsiung and it's almost uh 35 degrees Celsius.
Degrees Celsius. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
Oh, it's really hot. Okay,
Yes, really hot.
that's really hot.
35 and almost 40.
Almost 40. Mm.
Yes.
Okay, so you just stayed indoors. Of
But
course, at the
yes.
same time, your body is you're still not feeling well, so of course you need to be indoors, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. So thank you so much for that one, Miss Sharon. And hopefully before your flight, you are now fully recovered. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So of course, without any further ado, so let's have. our
Mhm.
um mock test now. Okay.
Okay.
So the last time, right, we had the how to say this, like um the checking or the feedbacking of
Yeah.
your how to say this, like of the last session. Mhm.
Mm.
Okay. So that means right now we will proceed, or we're gonna continue where we stopped. Okay. I mean, not where we stopped, but we're gonna have a new session, new set. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you now ready, Miss Sharon?
Mm, okay.
Okay. Are you now ready? Okay. Of course, you have no choice but to be ready, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, of course, without any further ado, let's start with part one, and let's talk about buildings. Mhm. Okay. Buildings.
Yes.
Now,
Buildings.
yeah, buildings.
Buildings. Okay.
Okay. Now, for my first question, are there tall buildings near your home?
Sorry, could you spell again?
Okay. Are there any tall buildings near your home?
Actually, there are no tall building near my home, but the most famous tall building in my hometown is Taipei 101, and it's really tall building and attract many tourists come to see.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Do you take photos of buildings?
Sure. I usually take photos of buildings when I travel, especially when I see the unique buildings and beautiful towers. And I really like the building which have special special uh, special size or types.
Okay. So,
Okay.
thank you so much for that one. Now, next is there a building that you would like to visit?
Yes. I would really like to uh, visit the building in the UK, and I have seen many photos of its historic buildings, and I think they look beautiful and inspiring. So I plan to study in the UK in the future and would visit it.
Okay, thank you. Next, do you want to live in a tall building?
Mm, uh, Sure. Uh, I think living in a tall building can be convenient because it usually offers better facilities and views. However, I think I will prefer a quieter environment. So if the tall building near the quieter environment is better for me.
Okay, that's all.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much, and that's the end of our part one. So now this time, let's proceed to part two, and I will give you a topic, and I would like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. You have one
Okay.
minute to prepare your answers, and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand? So
Okay.
here's your pen and your paper, and this is your cue card. For your topic, I would like you to Describe a time you needed to use your imagination. So,
Okay.
for your 1 minute preparation time, it starts now. Okay, time's up.
Okay.
Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about the topic. Don't worry about the time. I will stop you when it's done. So, you may start speaking now.
Okay. I would like to talk about time when I needed to use my imagination while developing a research proposal for my PhD studies. Mm, this happens. This happens a few months ago when I was preparing a paper and thinking about my future research directions. I often need to identify research gaps and solve and solve ideas. However, unlike solving a practical problem, there is usually no standard answer in educational research. The reason I needed to use my imagination was that I wanted to connect different theories and create a research framework that could explain a real educational issue. At that time, I was interested in uh, local educational uh, leadership, but I was not sure how to combine this concept in a meaningful way. Uh, to solve this problem, I spent a lot of time to read journal articles and and discussing with my professor. And and I felt very uh, confused because I don't know how to come up with these issues. But but in the end, I I think the idea they combined theory and critical questions.
Okay, time's up.
Okay.
Mm. So, speaking of that research paper or research proposal, well, I know using your imagination doesn't guarantee a
Oh,
100% success, but so far, how's the paper that you were working? What's the result so far?
it's better now because I successfully complete proposal and receive positive feedback
Mhm.
in the conference. Yes.
Okay, I see. So, thank you so much for that one. And of course, since we have been talking about imagination, I would like to ask you more questions related to that topic or to that
Okay.
matter. Now, for my first question, Do you think adults can have lots of imagination?
Mm, I think children uh um are, are often more willing to explore new ideas without worrying about making mistakes. But adults tend to be influenced by experience and social expectations. So I think children are more imaginative than adults.
Okay, thank you. Next is, do you think imagination is essential for scientists?
Uh, sure, I think imagination is uh, important because it helps scientists solve problems and develop new ideas. For example, scientists often need imagination to find innovative solutions. Without imagination, progress in science fields would be much slower. Therefore, the imagination is crucial for the scientists. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next, what kinds of jobs need imagination?
Mm, oh, I, mm, I think uh, imagination is useful for artists, but it is also important in uh, some professional settings. For example, uh, in my job, such as education administration, people often need to find creative solutions to complex problems and balance different stakeholders' needs. So there are many jobs need imagination.
Okay, now, next, what subjects are helpful for children's imagination?
Mm, I think like the scientists or artists, it's good for children to develop imagination. In these subjects, teachers can use the weight is through project-based learning. Uh, in this kind of in this kind of way, students can be encouraged to design projects, solve real-world problems, and learn how to work with each other. And these activities allow them to improve imagination. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next, um, what games help develop children's imagination?
Okay. Mm, yes. Yes. Mm. It's a hard question. Uh, um, I think some games uh, like to uh, mm, like I don't know how to say it. They the children can play games to design the code or or techno technology related. So I don't know how to say. I cannot impress in English, but I know the one of the game it, like people can think independently in this game is because people should should code should do code by themselves.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, now last question. How important is imagination to children?
Uh, I think I reckon it in modern society because many visual jobs required uh, problem sol problem solving abilities, independent abilities, and ima- and they also require creativity and critical thinking. So children uh, should develop imagination in order to uh, in order to uh, in order to pursue the better job in the future. Okay.
That's okay.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for that one. And that's the end of our speaking practice. Hmm. So, how was it so far, Miss Sharon?
It's difficult.
It's difficult. Which part is difficult?
Both of them.
All of them? Even part one?
Yeah, yes, because I'm not really familiar with building here. So
Okay, so that's why it's also a bit challenging for you.
yes.
Okay. But let's say which one is the most challenging? One, two, or three?
Mm, three.
Three. Okay, why
Yes.
three?
Because the question is more deep
Mm-mm,
and and sometimes I don't know how to express in English.
mm-mm. Okay, but how about part two?
Part two, um, yeah, yeah, it's a little difficult. Yeah,
Mm-mm. It's a little difficult still.
well, because this imagination is not a really common issue.
Mm-mm. I mean, it's not a common topic.
Yeah, yes. So I spend some time to think uh how how to say this topic. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Okay, I see. So that's why it's a bit challenging for you, answering that topic. Okay. Now,
Yes.
um, what do you think is the, I mean, if you're gonna base it on the speaking criteria, what is
Mm,
your weakness for today's practice test? What do you think is your, I mean, you need to work on?
mm, maybe the answer not completely. Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yes, I'm not enough time to answer like
Mm-mm.
how difficult is how easy it was.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's more of like, how to say this? Maybe organizing your thoughts or maybe strengthening or giving depth to your answer,
Yes.
especially with the
Uh,
part three, because part three is something you did not expect, right?
yes.
Okay. How about with vocabulary words? Did you find it hard also to think of some vocabulary words that you would like to use?
Mm, maybe I tend to use uh, the same vocabulary. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Okay. So it may be a bit redundant for you. So you've
Yeah.
noticed maybe you need to expand on that
Mm,
area or on that part. Okay,
yes.
I see. So thank you so much for that one, Miss Sharon, for sharing your how to say this, like your realization. So this time, okay, before we check your responses, allow me first to give a feedback based on how you give answers or the way you performed earlier. Okay, so
Okay.
um let's start first part um with part one.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, with part one, overall, one thing I've noticed with your performance, of course, I mean, if we're gonna focus on overall feedback for your part one, your answers are relevant and well developed, and you were able to use good vocabulary topics like buildings, architecture, historic, and then views. And at the same time, you have this clear standpoint or personal opinion about the topic. Hey, one thing is also I like, I mean, you have also this ability to extend your answers beyond short responses. So good job for that one. Maybe, just one thing I wanted to work on if you're gonna focus on fluency and coherence, maybe with the fillers and short pauses, and maybe try to use more linking words, okay, instead of using
okay.
fillers. Then, for your grammatical range and accuracy, common issue is the subject verb agreement. And then, um, how to say this, like maybe run on sentence. There's some missing clarity on your
Mhm.
references on some of your sentences earlier. Okay, even though you tried to reason or to explain further, maybe it's a bit vague because there's missing something. Okay, and then for your vocabulary range or your lexical resource, one thing I've noticed is the repetition of the word beautiful and special. And it's obvious there's this limited architectural vocabulary. So, what I want you to do is to expand your vocabulary, especially about this one. Aside from using beautiful, you could say stunning, impressive, elegant. Building, aside from you saying building, you could say landmark, structure, architecture, and then try to use more collocations that are natural for this one. Okay? Now, for your pronunciation and delivery, it's understandable, but there's this hesitancy because you
Mhm.
use fillers and slight pauses. Okay. So I just want you to take note of that one, Miss Sharon. Okay.
Okay.
Now, let's proceed to your part two. Now, for your part two, I asked you to describe a time where you need to use your imagination, right? Now, if we're gonna start with your overall strength or the things or the good points of your part two, is that, of course, you were able to choose a strong and relevant, I mean, real life academic experience, which is your PhD research. Very good.
Mhm.
And then you were able to explain why imagination was needed. Very good. Of course, in research, you really need to think outside the box,
Mhm.
right? And then one thing also is that you attempted to describe problem solving in academic thinking, and you also showed good ability to use complex ideas. Like for example, you use the word theory, research gaps, framework. So basically, your presentation for part two is well developed in terms of content. Now, if you're gonna focus specifically with your with the speaking criteria, with your fluency and coherence, maybe the pauses, Miss Sharon, because if you pause like for let's just say 3 seconds, it will still affect the flow of your ideas. So I just want you to minimize the pauses, okay? And at the same time, how to say this like use more linking words so that
Mhm.
there's this clear transition or smooth connection between ideas. Okay. Now, for
Okay.
your grammatical range and for your grammar and sentence structure, common issue is the tenses, verb tense, and then subject verb agreement, and then also word order. And sometimes there are some missing articles and prepositions. Okay. So that's one thing I've noticed. And then for your vocabulary, even though you were able to use some complex vocabs, some of the ideas are repetitive. Like, for example, idea, research, time. So maybe try to use more academic collocation, right? And replace those, how to say this, like some of the vague ideas or phrases that you have used earlier. Connect theory. So maybe you could have tried to make it more clear. So with your delivery, overall, it's good, but just be careful with the pauses. Okay?
Okay.
Because it will actually affect the flow of your ideas for the part two. Now, for part three. Now, let's proceed to your part three. If we're going to focus with the strength, overall, there's this clear and relevant ideas for all of the questions. You also showed a good ability to explain and to extend your answers. Then you also use topic appropriate vocabulary like imagination, creativity, problem solving, solutions, and then I appreciate how you attempted to give examples and reasoning to your um opinions or standpoint earlier. And then good understanding of abstract ideas like you mentioned science, education, and job or work. Now, for the things that maybe that I wanted to work on, Miss Sharon, first is with the fluency and coherence, there's still some repetition. You tend to repeat some phrases, especially if you're not sure what to say next. So I know the topic is quite challenging, but try to minimize the repetition of phrases or words because that will still affect the fluency of how you use English language. Okay. And then sometimes some of your ideas are not smoothly connected. So that's what happened because earlier there's this hesitancy actually because you're not sure what to say next. So be careful with that one. Okay. And then as usual, try to use more linking phrases so that there's this smoother connection between ideas. Okay. Now, for your grammatical range and accuracy, common issue is verb forms, subject verb agreement, and then some of the word forms or maybe there are some awkward phrases that you have used and maybe some unnatural expressions earlier. And one thing I've noticed maybe with number five, question number five, you find it hard to answer, especially what games help develop children's imagination, that part. Okay. So it's okay. I know it's quite confusing, but later we're gonna discuss some of that. Okay. Now, for your lexical resource, common thing I've noticed is that you overuse the word important, good, and think. So try to use more varied or try to use another vocabulary like creative thinking, innovative ideas, out of the box thinking, or real world application.
Mhm.
So more alternatives for that one. And then for your pronunciation or maybe with your pronunciation and also at the same time your delivery, one common issue is the hesitation. It actually affected your fluency. Okay.
Mhm.
And then repetition of phrases and some of the unfinished ideas, specifically in question number five. Okay. So that's my feedback for your parts one, two, and three based on the speaking criteria. Okay. So since we still have some time, Miss Sharon, let's now check your um how to say this, your speaking practice. Okay. So let me have first um the questions here. Okay. And let me share my screen again. So please tell me if you can see my sticky note, my screen at your end, Miss Sharon.
Okay.
Okay, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, that's good. Now, let's start first with number, how to say this, with number, with part one. We are talking about buildings. So for the first question, are there tall buildings near your home? And then your answer is actually there are not tall buildings near my home. Okay. But the most famous tall building in my hometown is Taipei 101. And it's a really tall building and attract many tourists come to see. Okay. So there's some errors here, right? This part is there are not tall buildings. It should be there are no tall buildings. Not. No tall
Okay.
buildings. Okay. That
Okay.
one. And then also okay, you mentioned here, and it's a really tall building and attract blah blah blah. So this one
Mhm.
should be attracts. Okay, subject verb agreement, and then also verb pattern. Tourists come to see it should be attracts many tourists or attracts many tourists to visit it. Okay, that one, and yeah. So far that's it. But if we're just gonna make it better, Miss Sharon, we can have it like this. Let's say, for example, like, actually, there are no tall buildings near my home, but the most famous one in my hometown is Taipei 101. Or not hometown, you can say in my country, right? In my country is Taipei 101. So instead of using building because he already used building numerous times, so you can say it is a well-known landmark and attracts many tourists every year. Okay? So that's one way of expressing what more clearly, Miss Sharon. Okay?
Okay.
So, any question on that part or
It's
no?
okay.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you. So, now this time, let's proceed to the number two. For number two, do you take photos of buildings? And you mentioned, sure, I usually take photos of buildings when I travel, especially when I see beautiful things and beautiful buildings. So be careful because you repeatedly use beautiful twice in one sentence. Okay. And I really like the buildings which have special styles or types. Okay. Just be careful with repetition of the words because it will make you less coherent or less fluent. Okay. So if we're just gonna make it better, the idea is very good actually, Miss Sharon. Just more clarity and to avoid repetition, we could say, sure, I usually take photos of buildings when I travel, especially if I find them, you say, visually interesting. Okay. I particularly like buildings with, you could say, unique designs or you you say modern architecture or some sort of like that. Okay. Mm-mm.
okay.
Is it good, Miss Sharon?
Good.
Okay. So that one. So we use here unique design and modern architecture. Mm-mm. Okay.
Okay.
So that there's this more topic appropriate related to buildings. Okay. Now let's proceed to number three. For number three, we have it here. Okay. Is there a building that you would like to visit? And you mentioned, yes, I would really like to see the building in the UK. And I have seen many photos of its historic buildings, and I think they look beautiful and inspiring. So I plan to study in the UK in the future and would visit it. Okay. Now, the issue here is first, this one, you mentioned the building in the UK. So it's quite unclear. Maybe you could say, I would really like to see famous buildings in the UK. Okay. And then you have it here. It's historic buildings, this part. You can say historic buildings there. Okay. Clear reference. And you have it here. Hmm. To there's many and overuse of and as you can see here. Okay, so try to use more alternative connectors, Miss Sharon. Okay, now if we will just gonna make it better, we could say yes, I would like to visit some famous historic buildings in the UK. I have seen many photos of them and they look very beautiful and inspiring, you can say. I also hope to study there in the future, so I would definitely take a chance to visit them. Mm. Okay, is it
Okay.
good, Miss Sharon?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, now, lastly, let's now proceed to the number four. And for number four, we have it here. Okay, just a minute. Do you want to live in a tall building? And you mentioned, sure. I think living in a tall building can be convenient because you usually they you I think you mentioned it usually offer better facilities and views. Okay. However, I think I will prefer a quiet environment. So if the Tokyo thing, I'm not sure about this. Okay. Quite an
Mm,
environment. Okay. Mm-mm.
yes.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Am I correct with that one, Sharon? Tokyo. You use Tokyo?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Mm.
I prefer a quiet
Uh,
environment.
I
A quiet.
I I forgot. I
You
forgot what I
forgot. Okay. I see. So in this case, let's just try to um let's say like this. Okay. So the ideas are very good, and it's just that this one, it should be, it usually offers because building is one, right? So you could say it usually subject verb agreement, and just making it better, we could say yes. I mean, um, sure. I think living in a tall building is convenient because it offers good facilities and great views. However, I personally prefer a quiet environment, so I would rather live in a, you have it here, peaceful area. Mm-mm. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, is it good with that part, Miss Sharon? Or no
Yes,
question?
it's good. No
Okay.
question.
I'm not sure why did I put Tokyo here. Okay.
Just want to.
So, since we are done with this one, let's now proceed to your part two. Okay. Later, I will update this one with some of the vocabulary that you can use. Okay. Now, let's proceed to part two. And for your part two, okay, just a minute, Miss Sharon.
Okay.
Where's my sticky note for part two? Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. Let me have it first. The title. Mm.
Mm.
Okay. And here, here's the topic for part two. That one. And your answer is here. This one. Okay. Okay. This one. So in this case, let's have first your original answer. You have it here. I would like to talk about a time when I needed to use my imagination. So in this part, there's this long pause actually, Miss Sharon. So be careful with that one, okay? While developing a research proposal for my PhD studies. This happens, so there's this hesitation if you would use present or past. Okay, a few months ago, when I was preparing a paper and thinking about my future research direction, I often need to identify, and when I was preparing a paper, okay, gaps in so ideas. However, unlike solving particular problems, there's usually no standard answer in educational research. Well, recently, um, I needed to use my imagination when I wanted to connect different theories and create a research framework that could explain a real educational issue. At that time, I was interested in local educational. I'm not sure about this one, Miss Sharon. This one,
Mm,
but I was not sure how to combine this concept in a meaningful way. To solve this
mm,
problem, I spent a lot of time reading journal articles and discussing with my professor, and I felt very confused because I don't know how to come up with this. But in the end, I think the idea they combine theory and critical questions. So even though you were able to speak for 2 minutes, maybe there's still lacking, right? Because you weren't able to finish it, Miss Sharon. So very good of usage with um research framework, how to say this, the gap, research gaps, and then um you use concept and then research direction, very good. And then okay. So just actually when trying to show varied or maybe a clear IPDOF
mm,
method, right? Okay. So if we will gonna have a revised version following the IPDOF method, Miss Sharon. Okay. Let's say we can have it here. Okay, let's start with this one. Mm-mm. While developing my blah blah blah. So for your introduction, you can simply say like this one. So I would like to talk about a time when I needed to use my imagination during my PH studies. Okay. Mm-mm. And then this one, don't be confused. Use past tense. Okay. So you would say this happened a few months ago when I was working on my research proposal and preparing an academic paper. Okay, that one.
okay.
Now you transition to the description, more detailed explanation about this problem that you have. So you would have it here at that time. Okay, let me just adjust this one to Sharon first. Okay. Okay. Here. Okay. So you could say at that time, I needed to identify research gaps and develop a theoretical framework. However, you tried to compare it, right? Unlike solving mathematical problems, there is no single correct answer in educational research, right? I had to combine different theories in a meaningful way to explain a real educational issue. To do this, I spent a lot of time reading journal articles and discussing ideas with my professor. Hmm. Now,
Mm,
you transition to your feeling. How did you feel, or what did you feel while working on this paper? He said, at first, I felt quite confused because I did not know how to connect all the concepts together. It was challenging because I had to think creatively and critically at the same time.
mm,
Okay? All good for that one.
yes. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Now, if you're gonna have the next part, your final thought or maybe your future implication about this, maybe you could say, Miss Sharon, like in the end, I managed to develop a clear idea by combining clear theories. Although it was difficult, I felt satisfied because it improved my ability to think more deeply and creatively in academic research. Mm-mm.
Mm,
Okay. So is it good with that one, Miss Sharon?
it's okay.
Okay. So that's one way of having that. Okay. Mm-mm. So any clarification so far with that part?
Mm, it's okay.
No question.
Yes.
Okay. So In that case, we're done checking it, right? But don't worry, I will also still paste it here, some of the vocabulary words that you can use specifically for this part. Okay?
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Especially if you
Okay.
want to review this document or maybe this paper. Okay. And
Mm,
unfortunately, it is already time, Miss Sharon. So what will happen for your part three? Do you want to have your part three checked, Miss Sharon?
okay.
Okay. So I will just paste it here in advance for your part
Mm,
three. Okay.
okay.
That's one. And so as also, I will add some of the lexical resources that you can use for the part two and part one here. Okay.
Mm,
Mhm.
okay.
So overall, good job so far, Miss Sharon. So I just want you to be mindful of the things that I have pointed out
Mm,
earlier. Okay.
mm,
Especially with the
okay.
pauses, hesitation, and at the same time, try to use more varied linking phrases or cohesive devices and more varied vocabulary. Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
So that's it so far. And I guess thank you so much for this afternoon, Miss Sharon. And of course, get well soon. Okay. And
Okay.
um, good luck with your presentation
Oh,
in Hong Kong.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.